Hello, Tony here from PPA, one of the directors. Case study number 2 I'm going to talk about today. How to fast track yourself to financial freedom using our builder specialist formula. This client has gained considerable success and I'll go into detail about it here. So Stuart here, a single male in his 20s, came to us in 2010. His main priority was accelerating his cash flow so he could earn a higher income. He wanted affordability because it was his first property, so he wanted an entry-level property that was good value for money. He wanted to accelerate his cash flow. He wanted strong rental return. Obviously he wanted strong capital growth to leverage off sooner rather than later to accelerate and fast track his equity growth, so he could get to early retirement, give himself options to get there much sooner than people otherwise do when they come to us in their 40s and 50s and are panicking, and we have to try and fast track their cash flow. So he bought investment property 1, an affordable house land in Melbourne, 2010, 334 in Point Cook, up and coming area southwest of the city, around about 20 k's out. At the time we got the land about 10k under. We passed that on to him, so he already had that step up, I suppose, that little bit of an advantage. First tenant guarantee, so we gave him that so he wasn't worried about renting it out at the end of construction. It rented straight away as it was, but peace of mind. Current value 690. As I said, he bought in at 334, 690 in 2017, that figure at the end of 2017. Outstanding return on investment, the gain was 356,000 in capital growth, equity growth, for him to leverage into his second property, which he did, and I'll talk about that in a minute. Rental returns 580 a week today. It's a strong rental return considering a 334 purchase. So he used the equity to buy investment property number 2. He leveraged off that because originally he had to use savings for his deposit and cost. So he had to save the initial deposit and cost being his first property. This time he was able to leverage off the equity gain and use that to buy the next property. So no out-of-pocket expenses. A much better way to do it if you have equity in another property. I can show you more about that later, but today we're focusing on case studies. So number 2 was a house land package, 538,000, 2012. This time we went to Sydney because the market was starting to move in Sydney. This is right at the start of the property cycle. It's very important to know you're right at the start to maximise your equity gain through that whole growth cycle, which this gentleman did. We got an affordable property again. We were looking at affordability because he's still a young guy and we wanted to maximise what he could do up front, so make money when you buy. Well below the ECB, established capital benchmark. It means that everyone else around him, or the majority, are paying more than him to be there. So it's like saying you've got the worst house in the best street, but it's a nice house, but they're brand new. So everyone's got nice big houses. This particular estate in Stonecutters region, Sydney, was a golf course estate, so a beautiful estate to be in as well. 5k cashback, we passed that on as usual to him. That was through our strong relationship with the developer, negotiated a better deal and gave that back to the client. First tenant guarantee to assure him it would rent out straight away. Again, it rented out straight away. He didn't need that, but it's peace of mind. Current value today, 870,000. Outstanding returns since 2012. 332,000 in equity gain, again to leverage off for his next property. So he's in a great position with cash flow, equity growth, and he's written off thousands in tax because a brand new property depreciates from 100% down. So he's been able to gain that extra write-off from tax to accelerate his cash flow as well, to increase his income position. So that helps him with his borrowing capacity moving forward as well. So look, the third property is ready to go now, but life got in the way a little bit, as it does with a lot of young people. And you know, he's got to work through a few things before he can buy again. But he's in a great position to accelerate his wealth even further into another property. And this time we'll be looking at possibly a dual occupancy property to accelerate cash flow and maximise what he can do from one block of land. So thanks for listening. Tony from PPA. showing you a real case study.